On today's website, we're going to compare two websites, a bad website and a good website in the beauty industry, so that you can learn from the bad website what you want to avoid and learn from the good website what you want to implement when you're designing websites. Let's rock and roll. Hey designer friends, what is up? My name is Ron Segal. Welcome back to Flux, and today we're going to compare two different websites. They're e-commerce website in the beauty industry, but I think that the learnings and takeaways do not only apply to the beauty industry, so whatever website that you're designing, you can learn a lot from it. Let's dive into it. I want to start off with this example. So this is a website for a brand called Malin Goetz. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And I'm showing this as the bad example. Let me just scroll through this. You see they're selling deodorants and all kinds of other beauty products. And this is basically how the website looks like. All right, so you can see that. There's blog, our story, a little bit of, I guess you can call it vision in the press, and then some Instagram feed, and that's about it for the homepage. Now, if we're looking at I want to talk about this from the design perspective, visual design perspective, typography, colors, layout, art direction, and then also from structure. I want to start off with the visual design. So they have a very, very simplistic brand in terms of there's one color, there's this very strong blue color, and there is one font, sans serif font, looks kind of like an Helvetica font, and they chose to use it in a lowercase, always with a lowercase and a dot at the end. You can see this all around here, except for the logo, which is uppercase, and they're basically repeating this all over. Now, I like minimalism, so I like the choice of one color and one font. That's great. But the way that they've used it, I don't think they've done a good way in creating good hierarchies. So right now, basically, this twice as nice is exactly or very, very similar in terms of hierarchy to the actual logo, and also the button. If you squint your eyes and you look at the shape of the shape of the color, basically you have three things here which are almost the same hierarchy, and then this text here is almost the same as all of these menu items. So in general, we're seeing a lot of things which look very similar, and they're kind of a little bit disoriented. And now also I want to touch a little bit about the details, but if you look here at the image, it's a sharp image, but then here it becomes kind of like, I don't know why, but for some reason there's a gradient at the top, which just looks like the quality of the image is bad or something here at the top. And especially when you're in things like beauty, and a beauty product where things that you want them to be accurate and in the details, when you have something like this, which actually looks like a mistake, this whole brand to me just feels like not as professional. Now, when you're scrolling down here, you can also see the problem with the way that they've used, the typography and the hierarchy problems. Again, we have two kind of like similar headlines, and here in the image, we have a blue rectangular, which might be kind of confusing like a button because they are rectangulars, blue rectangulars. So I think. And then here you have this list of things that are good, but they're actually, I think, even bigger than the actual title. So where should I be looking at? This checklist or this headline? I think in terms of hierarchy, this website is a little bit crude, I would say. I'm scrolling in here, and then I have this huge message, which is supposed to be their mission statement or something, or the story of the company. But to me, I'm scrolling into this, I feel like I'm scrolling into an error zone. There is a big, bold blue rectangular in my face with huge, bold font on top of it. I don't know, to me it feels like an error message. And I think that's a shame. It could be a really great brand that is bold, that is in your face, but right now it's a little bit crude to me. In terms of structure, let's see what they have here, right? So they have kind of like a featured product or something that you can click shop now. Then they're showing you their best sellers, just some more bestseller. Basically, they're just pushing you into shop now all of the time. They're not really talking about what is different about them or why we should work with their brand. Okay, there are some free from bad stuff, I guess, but they're not really talking about what's unique about them. And then they have this great line here that is, they've been in the press. This is great, but why leave it so down, almost at the footer of the page? You want to start off with something that can help you build credibility and also a little bit in the details. If you look at the logos, they're not really in line. And that's another one of these tiny details where if I want to work with a brand that is like a premium, healthcare or beauty brand, you want things to be in the details. And when the logos are, one is big, one is small, and they're not even aligned in a line, to me, that's one of the other details that is just not tight enough. All right, I want to show you a different example. So here's another beauty brand. This one is called Fussy, and let's scroll through this. This is, again, deodorant brand. Let's scroll through this. Here you can see we're starting off with a call to action, with a hero section, but we have all of these logos on the front. You can see them before you even start scrolling. Also here you have these reviews. So they start off with a lot of building credibility off the top. Then reasons to be fussy, why they are different, and then scrolling here about how it works, how you're using them, and then I guess a little bit more about them, some reviews, I guess some more about what's different about them, the different scents that they have, and then also kind of like blog and Instagram. So it finishes up quite the same. Now I want to talk about, so we saw in terms of structure, I think this is better structured, right? Starting off with building credibility and social proof. They have way more social proof on this page, why they're different, right? Reasons to use them and how to use them. So a lot about what makes them different and some more reviews and testimonials. So I think structure and content-wise, this is much better, but let's talk about the actual visual design. So here, first of all, there's two things that I can note immediately. One, they have a really nice art direction here, right? They took the product, they arranged them in a certain way, they created a composition, and they took a photograph which presents them in a nice way, right? Here they've animated them as well with kind of like a shadow, it's like floating. Here we basically have the most classic and you can say boring kind of way to present a product. They're just, here it is in a box on a white background, and here there's nothing, it's just on a blank background. So this art direction is very, very boring, and here we have a little bit more exciting art direction. Now, one more thing that I think is so important. One thing that in whatever product that you're buying, you want to know who is this for, right? And one way to do that is to show people. Because when you see people, there's a lot of details here, and then you can kind of like feel whether this is for you or not, right? This is not just a woman. She has a piercing. She has tattoos. She has these nails. There's what she's wearing. So you can immediately understand what the brand is and who this brand is because of the people that you see here. We have another one here for a man, and you can say, oh, it's almost minimal, but no, there is this little chain here so it gives you a little bit of hint about what these people are like and whether you want to be part of that brand or not. Here, we've got 0 people. So this is we don't even know who is this for. Is this for me or is it not for me? The only people we see here are the founders. And so I don't know, it's only if I look like them, it's, I don't feel like there's a direction into who is the people that they want to sell to. So I think this art direction, also even the hands here, right? The color of the hands, so it tells you a little bit about who is this for. I think also tries to be a little bit more inclusive. So I really, really like this. And the last thing I want to say here is about the typography, right? They choose to work here with 2 different fonts, right? So there is the thin sans serif font, but they've also chose this serif font, and they're combining it together. And the combination of this very, very clean, technical, you can say, font with this really, really kind of like fancy font, I think creates a feel. It creates a feeling of premium, of something that is very, very cool and fancy. And even they're even changing things up with this like reviews all of a sudden. So I think the combination of going, you can say a little bit cheap together with the classy, I think that what really creates a brand And I really, really like how they created it. The way that they bring here, you know, these photos to make you feel like you're smelling what the scent is. I really, really like this, and I feel like they did a way better job creating a brand that is more trustworthy and that you want to buy from. All right, so those were my notes. If you've realized some things on this website that were good or bad that I didn't mention, please put them in the comment below and let me know what you thought about this video. Do you want me to do more of these comparison videos? Did you find them helpful? I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.